All Indiana Politics
is your premier source for Indiana politics.
Focusing on issues that matter to you.
I still want us to be the best in the Midwest.
We can't afford another lockdown.
Give the citizens of this country the relief they need.
Education in the state of Indiana remains priority number one.
In-depth, nonpartisan coverage.
We don't know exactly where the economy will be in January.
People are worried with good reason.
Exclusive interviews with Indiana's political leaders.
We have the resources here in the state of Indiana to care for those who are in need.
Expert analysis on critical legislation.
We need to reform those laws.
This recovery is going to take some time.
We've got to anticipate that there'll be a budget shortfall.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
I'm Wish TV's Phil Sanchez. I recently sat down with State Representative Chuck Goodrich, who is running for the 5th Congressional District. State Representative Chuck Goodrich is joining us this week. State Representative, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here in studio. You are running for the 5th Congressional District. Obviously, a lot of candidates in this one. Why do you think you're the right person for the job?
No, thanks, Phil. Thanks for the invite. I think about that race. First of all, it's a huge honor. It's a huge honor, and I'm very humbled to run and serve the people of the Indiana 5th District. So, I really think of a quote that really means a lot to me, and that is, a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity, but an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And I can tell you that's why I got into the state and the public service in the state house, and that's why I'm running for the Indiana 5th. I believe that that optimism and the attitude of it's possible is very important for this race, and it's very important for America going forward.
Well, let's talk about your background a little bit, because as you mentioned, you are a state representative. You have been since, I believe, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Tell us a little bit about your time as a state representative and also your background, why you originally got into politics.
Sure. No, I appreciate that question. I got into state politics because, I own an organization called Gaylor Electric, and that experience of actually owning a company, being able to make payroll, having a couple thousand employees that you care for every day, I believe that experience is what's needed in the Indiana 5th Congressional District. Being able to understand what health insurance, taxes, the shortage of workforce, how do you fix that, and those kind of things I think are very important for us as we move forward in Congress. And so my background at the state has been very important to me as I served on Ways and Means, I served on labor, and of course, education. Those three things in general, I believe that experience will help me in the Indiana 5th Congressional District.
Anything stand out to you, pieces of legislation that you worked on that you're proud of?
Sure, yeah. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed my time. But House Bill 1002 last year in 23 was a career scholarship account bill, which really made it possible for our students to get credentialing with their diploma. So I call it currency. So if you want to be a CNA or you want to head towards a nursing degree, this scholarship account will actually help you in high school get your credentialing as a CNA. And I think that's very critical, because when we look at our students today and you look what's important across the entire country, we got to make sure our students have applied learning along with their knowledge to be able to make wisdom. So that bill is very important. And of course, 1001 this year was critical, a number one Republican agenda bill that expanded that bill into driver's license, driver's training, being able to fix this transportation issue for our kids, gave some career coaching, and it expanded our ESAs. So those two bills have been really awesome. And I guess I'll let one more. The robotics bill.
Yeah.
The robotics bill, we're hoping to have 600 robotics teams across Indiana here in the near future. And I believe that to be huge for Indiana. I think it'll change Indiana in the next 10 years because, look, robotics is very important. Automation is very important for Indiana.
Sure. Okay, so looking ahead, we talked off camera. You have about 4 pillars, right, that you're running on. What are those?
The reason I run, I told you about this optimism, and when I think about why I run for Congress, and I can tell you that you run for Congress to build people up, to lift people up, give them a hand up. That's what America's about. It's not about this identity politics and running to the nearest media and complaining. It's really about giving people opportunity. And that's actually why I believe that I'm the best candidate for the Indiana 5th. So there are 4 that I believe that are very critical. One, of course, is generational poverty. Generational poverty is something that can be solved. What we have to do is we have to put dignity back in work. We have to get rid of this negative stigmatism about working with your hands. Because, folks, we know, Phil, we know that it's wrong. We've seen the careers. We know the money can be made. And that's where you start with removing generational poverty from our country. Second thing, of course, is we got to get rid of some of this regulation from Congress and Biden that has been piled on businesses and on people's liberty. We don't really need to hire 65,000 IRS agents to police America. What we need to do is make our tax code so that it can be figured out. And I can tell you that this regulation is stymieing business. It's keeping entrepreneurs on the sideline, and it's literally putting people out of business. And so we got to fix that. And of course, we got to secure the border. I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with securing the border except for Congress and the president. And so we have to make sure that we secure the border. We got to keep people out of this country that want to kill our kids, with fentanyl. We don't want people in this country that want to destroy America. And so we have to build the wall, and we have to secure the border. And of course, we got to live by a budget. The American public every day has to live by a budget. Gaylor Electric, the company that I own and run, has to live by a budget. But it seems that the federal government has decided they don't have to live by a budget, and we're passing that on to our kids. And I got to tell you, it's got to stop. And so got to build a budget, live within our means.
Obviously, I talk to a lot of politicians that hear that all the time from both sides. Yeah. So do you take aim at the Republicans as well as the Democrats on that one? Well,
what I take aim on is I think we actually have to have great policy, and I got to tell you, it is hard to get policy passed right now. I understand that. And so I don't take aim. The reason I'm running for the 5th is because I believe I can work inside the federal government and in Congress to actually figure that out, just like we did with Ways and Means. Ways and Means in Indiana, we've had a balanced budget. I am all for a balanced budget amendment. And I can tell you we've had a balanced budget. That's why Indiana is admired across the United States, because of our fiscal position and other things. Without getting too far into the weeds, and you touched upon it just now, pull the curtain back a little bit and explain to the folks at home who are watching what it's like to get these types of pieces of legislation passed, because it's a lot of deals that are being made, a lot of conversations that are being had. So how hard is it? Was there anything that when you came into state politics, your eyes opened up on? I really relate it to our business. I mean, you don't just put a concept in your business and say, boom, be done. Right. I mean, you have to work it. I mean, you literally have to be a workhorse, not a show horse. Show horses never get anything done because all they're out there is mouthpiece talking and talking and talking. What really has to happen is you got to be a workhorse. So you got to meet with all the shareholders, those that are for it and those that are against it. And we've got to be able to come to a budget. Like for Indiana, I mean, that budget starts like the first day of January and crossed the line the last night at like midnight, let's say. That was the 23 budget. And that took tremendous effort, tremendous work, long hours, long days. But that's what it takes when you're actually dealing with the public. And you are the servant to the public. Yeah. I got to tell you, it's yet exciting because, in Indiana, we actually have built a great budget. And I believe that with making payroll, understanding running a business, I believe we can make that happen in the United States Congress. I'm almost out of time, but I want to get two more questions and your thoughts on the job that Congresswoman Sparks did during her time. I would just say that, Congresswoman Sparks has been there for 4 years. She continues to talk about how the government's broken. I can't find out what she's done to help with this problem. And when she decided to get out of the race last year, that's when I decided to get in the race. And so with her flip-flopping on, I'm going to get back in the race with 3 or 4 days left, that was very disappointing to the voters, very disappointing to me and the other folks running. It's going to be a tough race, but I'm up for the challenge. Okay, one final word before we let you go. Yeah, I appreciate the time you spent with me and being able to talk to the public. But I would say that I just want folks to know that faith, family, and country are literally what I live for. My wife and I have been married 30 years, raised 4 kids, got an awesome grandson, Fletcher, and we go to White River Christian Church. And so I would ask for your vote and be in your next congressman from Indiana 5th.
Love the name Fletcher. Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks,
Representative, thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
From Wish TV, this is All Indiana Politics Podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Watch All Indiana Politics live Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Wish TV and at wishtv.com. Subscribe to this podcast and listen weekly here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.